Good morning. There's been a little bit of question about what I said yesterday in the devotion. And it might have been misconstrued that I was saying that it doesn't matter at Christmas. You put up with anything and you get through it for the sake of love, and love always prevails. No matter what happens to your home, no matter what happens, what's said, what's done, what damage is done. That's not what I intended to. I want to square that just a little bit. The gospel was born in conflict. What does that mean? Well, if there had been no sin, there'd be no need for Jesus Christ to come. And it is amazing how many times a conflict can be turned around to be a good thing in the end. It leads to greater understanding and a deeper level of restoration and unity in a home that perhaps without the conflict, it couldn't have been possible. So I don't want you to see conflict necessarily as a terrible thing and something that certainly can't be resolved, because with Christ, all things are possible. We know that, right? Okay. So it's been brought to my attention about Matthew 18. So I want to go through that a little bit. Matthew 18 says, and because this Christmas is coming up, and this is the scenario I'm getting in some different folks, is that last year there was a lot of nasty things said in our home, and I told this person that they were not permitted to come this Christmas, and now there's been some hurt from that, and they want to come. And my question to you, Pastor, is should I let them run the risk of hurting an entire Christmas get-together, not knowing exactly where this person is? So let's look at Matthew 18. Moreover, if your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he hears you, you have gained your brother. But if he will not, take with you 2 or 3 more. By the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word would be established. In other words, there wouldn't be any grounds for hearsay or he said, she said type things. So what is the heart of this? Restoring somebody to the family. Restoring an attitude of humility and unity, because what do we say the devil's come to do? Steal, kill, and destroy. But how does he do that? Through dividing a family, divide and conquer. That's what Jesus said. And so we want to prevent that from happening. So wouldn't the proper thing to be call this person up on the phone and say, may I meet with you? And if that's not possible, say, well, do you have a minute? And can I discuss something with you? You know, last year this happened or this happened. And, you know, my goal is for us to be all happy in Christ. You see, if God's not brought into it and you just want this happy home, this get together for Christmas and everybody's happy and they leave and they do all those things, then I'm not sure you're going to have the foundation that's going to make this work. Because with that being said, it's just that you want everybody, can't we just all get along? Well, what's the foundation for that? I mean, you could have any kind of person in the world with every different kinds of religion and say, can't we just all get along? And that means compromise. That means sacrificing truthful things. You don't want that in your home. And so what is the proper way to do it? The proper way is to go to this person in love and say, we're a Christian family. And we've got Christ as the center of our Christmas, which he should be. And maybe I haven't done that right, but I want to do it better. As the person that's hosting this, which is what I'm dealing with in other situations, and say, you know, last year some things were said, some hurtful things. And I want us to get to the bottom of that in a way that ministers to you and frees you from the pain of causing you to say that or feeling the need to say that, or those things that turned out to be hurtful and destructive to other people. What is the bottom of this? And you know, if you can reconcile with that person in love, you know what I found out? Let me just give you an example of marriage counseling, for instance. I've got this couple and they've got this great issue going on. And you know what I found out? He said something in front of another couple at a get-together someplace, embarrassed her. She pushed it under the rug, and it was never dealt with. And so now a new issue's come up, and this is really where all the attention is. But the bottom line was way back over here. It could be that you need to discover, what is it that's caused this feeling in your heart? Have I done anything that's promoted this thing that you're feeling right now? And get to the bottom of that. And let that person purge. Let them tell you. Let them give you their side. And then bring truth in. Truth sets free. You know the truth sets you free. But you always speak the truth in love, right? And so we speak the truth in love, but we don't compromise on it. Because that won't set them free. It won't set you free. And so we're saying, I'm opening up my home. But there are some loving boundaries. I'm not going to allow those things to be said. If you can't tell me before we ever start it that you're not going to say this, then maybe it's best you don't come. Because I can't sacrifice 40 other people there because you're the loose cannon that won't come to grips with what's really causing this going on in your heart, because I love you and I don't want you not to be there. But my question is, what is your motivation for feeling the need to say this and have to have that platform and have to have that audience? Could it not be that there's a greater hurt somewhere that we could talk about with Christ? And it's amazing how many times it'll go back to something else. And once that boil is lanced and that poison runs out, they don't feel the need to do those other things. And it's like, hey, you've gained your brother or sister back. And when that's a sister-in-law or brother-in-law, son-in-law, or even a son or a daughter, and with divorce the way it is, this ex or this thing, it's amazing how purging that can be, and ministerial for you and them, and redemptive for the cause of Christ. You remember, God has placed you in this position of authority, in this position of hosting or being the person that somebody's looking to, in order for you to be a leader. But the truth must be your banner. And as long as you're flying that high, and you're saying, I want this to be a special thing for Christ's glory, for God's glory, so that our family can enjoy Christmas, what it's supposed to be, then I think you can see that it'll be blessed. God bless you, and may you have a fantastic Christmas this year. I hope this has helped.